Dude, I don't know what's happening.
Oh,
I was trying to, because it said I could enter an intro video, and then I thought we were ready to go, and I was like, get ready to click it, and then it started spinning, and I'm like,
now we live.
Hold on, my lips are
3 minutes early, guys. Well, it changed.
Do you guys see that? I don't think I had enough.
What?
The one side is like, I don't know if it's my camera, but it's like darker than the other side. And I'm like, what is something's going on? I think I'm like having a meltdown.
Oh yeah,
it does look like your upper lip is a little darker.
Midlife crisis. I don't even know anymore. All right, so happy 2025, everybody. Welcome to season 3.
Surprise!
Happy
Surprise! Season 3 of the Ghoulfriend Hour. So, welcome back to our dysfunction. Get ready to just be unhinged with us. We're gonna do our best to stay on topic, but no guarantees. And there's gonna be lots of discussion about anal probes and weird stuff and unidentified shit that we know nothing about. So that's your trigger warning. I'm getting better.
New year,
my 2025 resolution was to give better trigger warnings.
I thought that you were going to just say ANAL, like just that, no probing after that. I thought you were just going to say, ANAL.
I did not do ANAL.
We're going to talk about our ANAL.
Like, oh man.
Please tell me you guys have seen Employee of the Month.
Mm-hmm.
I did not do ANAL. I was like, okay, sure. So if you haven't already guessed, tonight we are going to be reporting on aliens and all the cases because since you have 2 native New Jerseyans on the podcast, I feel like it would be unethical of us not to report on the drone situation and just the absolute chaos. Kind of just, I literally say this, I feel like every year since COVID is like, I feel like I'm stuck in the movie Little Nicky. Like I genuinely like, I feel like every day, like I'm waiting for like Cassius to like rise up out of hell and for Ozzy Osbourne to like eat a bat's head off and like just shit to go absolutely awry.
I like it.
All I know is that if shit starts to go crazy, I want one of those heaven jumpsuits. They seem pretty legit. They seem really comfortable.
Nothing's real anyway, so YOLO.
Yeah, I'm just gonna. That's all I'm asking for is at least if all hell's gonna break loose, give me one of those nice velour pink and white heaven jumpsuits and send me down a fucking river because I'm done. So Taylor, what are we starting off with? Rachel, what are we starting off with today?
I don't know. We were discussing that, and then you all of a sudden were like, live. So are we doing our 2024 like wrap up?
Yeah, we should probably do our recap moments because I feel like we need to like talk about. I mean, I feel like we had a pretty 2024 was a good year for the podcast. Like I feel like our first year was like really about like building, and then I feel like our second year was like it was a hustle season.
It was. I feel like this year's going to be an even better year.
It gets better and better. It's hilarious. Hey, I think we're more organized.
I never say that any year anymore because I said that literally the year of 2020. I was like, when I tell you, I sat in front of that ball and I said, this is going to be my year. I never say that. I was like, this is going to be my year. This is the year that things change. I can feel it. I feel something in my soul. I was like, it's going to change this year.
Me.
Wah, wah, wah. That went well.
Yeah. No, it didn't.
No. So I'm not saying that anymore because I'm scared that like I could quite possibly challenge the universe to like hold my beer.
They do serve beer in hell.
Yeah, but the coffee stays warm better.
Oh, well.
I'm going to have a double shot of espresso waiting for me. So anyways, so our 2024 recap. 2024 was decent. Taylor is predicting preemptively on her bingo card 2025 is going to be the year. Taylor, please manifest that for the rest of this, for humanity.
Wait, what am I manifesting? I zoned out.
That this is gonna be. Did you dissociate?
Maybe.
It's too early.
Only mildly.
Maybe I was dissociating at, what was his name? I always forget his name. Bob the Sasquatch? No, not Bob.
No, Jim.
Jim. He's in the corner.
Jimmy.
Sometimes I like to stare at him.
Jimmy.
Manifesting.
You're manifesting it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, please manifest it for humanity, because I don't think I can't handle much more. My psyche is gonna snap like a freaking twig.
Listen, man, I think we're gonna meet the aliens this year.
I like it.
Not gonna lie, that might actually be like, that could be like I guess we're gonna find out today when we kind of dive into this. It could be a really good thing. It could be interesting.
But I just feel like it's one of those things at this point where they'll be like, "Oh, here are the aliens," and we'd be like, "Oh, okay."
Honestly, yeah,
It's
that's
just
how it was
all right.
though.
What else?
When was it? Like a year or two ago, or 2 or 3 years ago, when they announced that there were traces of aliens, and everybody was like, "Great! Can you drop the prices of the gas now?" Like,
Yeah.
we don't
Like,
give a
nobody
fuck.
cared.
We weren't phased.
Cool.
We weren't phased.
nobody cared. They literally were like, people are so dead inside right now that we could literally land a mothership in the middle of Times Square, and everybody would be like, "Can we take a tour?"
Sweet. Yeah.
You're like, "Are you gonna drop the taxes?"
Yo, MTV cribs, pull up so we could see the inside. Like, there's really nothing. There's nothing at this point. I told Matt, I'm like, literally a meteor could crash through our window right now, and I would be like, I really fucking hope our home insurance is going to cover that. Like, I would be the least bit phased. Like, I would just be like, okay, it's just another layer of life that we have to get through.
On top of the car.
Yeah.
Right on top of the car incident.
Yeah. Honestly, you want to know what's killing me inside right now? What's making me absolutely dead inside? The roads in Delaware.
Yep.
What do you mean?
I can't get... So, Taylor, Delaware snow, Delaware winter is not like New Jersey. We had a normal New Jersey snow.
Mm-hmm.
Like, something that would be like a 2-hour delay for us has been like a 3-day vacation for Delaware schools.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, they are not snow plowing. They're just like, I watched the snow plow come through the other day and give the snow a haircut. It didn't plow it. And I was sitting there and I'm like, what? You have your plow down. I'm like, I'm very confused. I'm like, in Jersey, like even Matt's like in Pennsylvania. He's like, it's like you can hear a snow plow coming from like miles away.
Most of the time they destroy the roads because of it.
Yeah. So I guess I don't know, maybe that's why they're trying not to do it, but they're almost like giving it a haircut and then packing it down as they're doing it. So it's like, we're all trying to drive. There was like 40 cars today stuck by our Walmart on the sides of the road. You can't get through Slaughter Beach. I got stuck coming out of my driveway and going into my driveway because they keep like, we shovel it and then they plow us in, but they don't plow it's not even like it's worth it. It's like they plow the roads, but like they don't plow the roads. So they just pack it down so that by the time you try and get out of your driveway, you not only have to cross Mount Everest, but you then have to get down like this slippery frozen river of just nonsense.
And then it's windy, so now it's just blowing back into the road from the fields too. So I drove down a road and it was like mini mountains on the side. It was just like this much road, and I was like, "This is
snowdrift is."
Is it
Then
snowing?
you have people
like,
that are just,
you guys?
huh?
Is it snowing currently by you guys? Like, has it been snowing?
No, we're supposed to get more tomorrow or Saturday.
Yeah.
We were supposed to get snow Monday, and they were telling us that we were going to possibly have no school and that a lot of people were going to work from home. And then we got a light dusting. Like, it literally was like the clouds went, and then that was it.
That's what I was expecting. You know how they hype it up and they're like, "We're getting 87 inches," and then nothing happens. That's what I was expecting. But then I woke up and I was like, "Wow, it really happened."
Yeah, crazy, dude. I can't. I'm so fed up. Like this. Like I thought I liked snow in New Jersey because like, and please guys, if you're listening from Delaware, let's not make this a Delaware, New Jersey thing. Don't cancel me because I'm saying this, but like literally we've gotten like 4 feet of snow in New Jersey. Like I'm talking, it was like up to my nipples. And like It's plowed. The next day you can walk out of your house and enjoy the scenery without being like hating the world.
I feel like I'm crunching like 2 feet of snow just to get out places all the time.
I'm not, and like, because Rachel, we like don't have like winter weather here. I feel like it's so weird because it's only like what 3.5 hour difference, and like we don't get like usually the lowest it gets here is like 40 degrees. It's weird. Like we don't get like the winters that like I'm used to in like Jersey or like PA, like where it gets like below like 10 degrees and you're like prepped for it. So I'm like walking out there with my Ugg slippers, a short sleeve shirt, and I'm like, oh my God, like I think I have frostbite. Like I need to go back in and like find some kind of clothing.
Yeah, whatever these winds that are coming around right now, it went from like during winter break, like the holidays and stuff, it went from like the 40s and 50s, and the wind's making it feel like it's in the negatives right now. It's insane.
I think Art said it feels like 6 out earlier when I looked at it. Let's look at it right now.
Yeah. The only downside about being in Jersey, because I feel like compared to Delaware, you guys have more flatter grounds, is that Jersey has a lot more mountains. So if you're if you live in the mountainous area and it snowed, there's either a 50-50 chance that some of the roads didn't get plowed because it's harder to get into some of the more like mountainous areas, or it's plowed and there's still like enough snow or ice where like if you're on a hill, you're screwed. So you're probably going to drift down. That's the only like downside.
Yeah.
This one says it's 27 degrees right now. It feels like 10.
It's about right. That's about right. I said my Hail Marys the entire way home. I was like, please don't let me end up in a snowdrift.
Yeah.
But thank you to AJ from Talking with the Source. Big shout out to them. They are awesome. They support us all the time. So thanks for sharing that out. And hey, Raymond, how are ya? So, yeah. All right. So, 2024 recap. Who's starting?
I love it.
With our favorites or like
started there and then went to snow.
Yeah, I know. I was like, I felt us digressing. I'm like, okay, I need to turn this around. Like, I guess we'll just recap on like some favorite episodes, favorite moments of 2024 with the Ghoulfriend Hour. Yeah, I mean,
I think one of my favorite things we did last year was when we recorded those stories. And I couldn't get through it because I just kept laughing. I felt
the
like
AI ones.
Yes,
those were good. Those are good.
Stories for I think we did like October or something.
That was a good one.
We gotta do those again.
Hey Matthew. Yeah. Big shout out to Matt from Dark Echoes. Sorry, Taylor.
That's okay. I think one of my favorite things, which is why we progressed a lot since the first year. I like that we took the Ghoulfriend Hour on the road. So like a lot of I know Morgan, you got to go to a lot of the trips, but like I know when I got to go to Gettysburg Battlefield Bash, that was really cool. And we got to meet some really cool people. Yeah. And I think my favorite thing last year was going to my haunted manor. And it's crazy because I forgot that I think we went 2 times in 1 year, right? Because we went February.
Did, yeah, because we went to the grand opening.
Yeah, in the summer, right? Was it June we went?
Yeah.
No, May? It was somewhere in the beginning of the summer.
I feel like it was, I want to say it was like May.
Yeah.
No, because I feel like it was way too hot. Like, I feel like it was like July. I think it was July, because it was like the heat of summer. Because I remember we were like, no, we're not staying in the attic. We're not staying in the second floor.
It was hot. That's true.
But yeah.
Those were my favorite.
There's some good moments. I definitely...
Some good and some bad.
Yeah.
Like my StreamYard ghost.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, we have to huge shout out to our StreamYard ghost. Thanks for always coming in clutch and just Irish goodbyeing our guests and just wreaking absolute havoc. Huh?
What should we name it?
I don't think we should give it a name.
Okay, never mind. We're not going to give it a name.
Because I feel like, I feel like if we give it a name, we are in trouble. Oh,
True.
Lauren. Hi, Lauren.
Hi, Lauren.
That was okay. So, guest wise, Lauren was such a fun guest. 2024 recap. That was a great episode. That was 2024,
It
right?
was. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was.
So
I still gotta make my tinfoil hat.
yes. We still need to do a part 2 with Lauren because I feel like we had so much to talk about and unpack. If you guys ever get the chance, you have to check out Lauren because she makes the coolest technology for ghost hunting, and really kind of gets into the nitty gritty of like her builds and how things work. And so I really enjoy her presence, and I think she was a wonderful, wonderful guest, and now friend on the podcast. So thanks for popping in, Lauren. We're definitely going to have to make some moves for 2025, and get you on again and see some of your new equipment, because some of your new equipment looks really, really awesome. Oh, man, there's just so many good like 2024 moments. One that I thought was really cool was probably my favorite event, if I had to pick one, was the Warrens Seekers of the Supernatural Paracon. It was a really big moment for me because I got to meet my idol, Ryan Buell. He was somebody that like I was like a young girl and I used to watch him on my iPod Touch. Like my poor aunt, she hooked me up on her iTunes account and was like, "Listen, this is like your amount that you can spend per week." And like I was buying, she's like, "How much music can you buy?" And I'm like, "I'm not buying music. I'm buying episodes of Paranormal State." And like she's like, "You're watching videos on that tiny screen," and no joke, like he was like, he brought that show and like I was glued to it. Katrina Weidman was on it. Michelle I feel like I'm butchering people's names. Bellinger, Chip Coffee. I mean, amazing, like just amazing people that you know in the field states. So getting to meet him was like surreal, and it was such a big moment because he was so humble, so down to earth. Got to see all these people and these artifacts and all these things that you read about and you hear about in the paranormal field and are on all the ghost shows, and you're like, this is what I grew up watching, and now it's like right in front of me. So seeing the Annabelle doll was wild. That was like that was an experience. I actually got to hang out with the Ghost Brothers, which was really fun. Like they are really down to earth, like great celebrities. Like getting to, I walked to the table, I met them. I think I had a lot of like celebrity stage fright when I first got there, and it was hard for me to like get my words out, and I was so nervous. But then like getting to like walk around, and then things started after the event kind of started to dwindle down and a lot of people left. There was still like 2 hours left, and we were waiting to watch like more panels go on and do the Q&As. And so while we were walking around, like Ghost Brothers were just sitting there, they're just kind of hanging out because everything was kind of almost over, and we just hung out with them for like 20-30 minutes. Like we're just like shooting the shit with them, and they were really, really cool. And the fact that they're like really dedicated to their fans, like they don't make anybody feel rushed, that was really cool. So I think if there's one thing I really want to do this year with the two of you, I think you guys would have a blast at the Warren Seekers of the Paranormal Paracon.
Let's do it.
We gotta do more road trips this year, and with Rachel included.
Yes.
Yeah, I maybe because I think Emily, Kelsey, April, Ron, they're all going to Trans-Allegheny. I wasn't able to because of schedule stuff, but after kind of researching it, because when they brought it up, I was like, let me look more into this. And it's really like, it's got a history. So I think that and Waverly Hills. Another one that I would really love to do with you guys, I mean, it's a trip, so we're probably gonna have to fly there, would be the House in Between. That's on my 2025 bucket list. I'm gonna get there come hell or high water. I don't care what I have to do. If I have to take a horse and buggy, if I have to rent a jet, flying ass over face over your house to
fly on a fart.
just
these UFOs.
3 of us staying at the house in between, and like it being a very interesting night. We're gonna be like the Blair Witch Project. We're gonna have like GoPros on our chest, and you're just gonna see us crying and snot coming down our face. We're like, I don't know what's happening. Get us out of here. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like we just had a lot of really great connections made in 2024. I mean, what would you guys say?
Yeah, I didn't realize how many things we did. Like when I was writing down all my favorites, and I was like, oh, you know, we met a lot of people, but then I also forgot that we did a lot. Like I completely forgot about that we did the cutting room in the same year.
Yeah,
we went to go see Al Sapienza.
Didn't it feel like there was 2 separate years?
Yeah.
Like I kept feeling like it was like I'm like, wait, was that 2023 or was that this year?
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, we started off 2024 with Kevin Ball.
That's true.
That was our infamous episode where I was throwing up off camera because I okay, can we call that a favorite? I think that was a key.
That is a favorite.
She's texting in the group chat. I'm throwing up. You guys keep going. Like, oh,
dude,
God.
Wait, I just remember like,
and we're trying to keep going. I'm trying not to laugh.
It was terrible. Throwing up into like just whatever I could find right here. I'm like, please God. I'm like, just let me get through this episode. And how I pulled it off, I have no idea.
You coming back and just like nothing was happening.
I was like, bleh. Yeah, so anyways.
It's like
every time like I think of that episode, I think of that skit by Chris D'Elia when he's like drunk girls like and they're alligators. He's like they'll just be like throwing up and they're just like bleh. So anyways, you know about my alligator? Like
can we just rewind it for a second and can I just read the text group chat that was going on when we were interviewing?
Oh my gosh.
You find it?
Go ahead, Taylor.
Morgan says, off to the side, literally throwing up in my trash can, LMAO, and I can hear y'all. I was like, fuck. And then I said, does it smell in there now? And you said it literally came out my nose, and I just popped back up with vomit in my nose asking questions. And then she said, Rachel, you're up next. I got to test my voice before I blow chunks again.
That was such a terrible time. That was the
and then
worst.
Rachel was like, all right, so Kevin, let's talk about this next topic. Like she got immediately into like the next question.
Oh man, that was so freaking. I just remember how scared I was. Like, my heart was palpitating because I'm like, I need to get it together because I still have to get through the next hour of this interview.
I think it was on the tail end though. We were kind of like getting out.
It was terrible. The cough, that cough traumatized me because I literally think that episode, I threw up into my trash can, ran out of room in my trash can, threw up into a venti Starbucks cup. Thank God I had that. I pissed my pants. I farted, I think, like 30 times because the cough was just so bad. And I literally was, if you could have heard the orchestra of shit that was going on the side of the screen. Like, Matt was downstairs, I come down, and he's just like he looks at me, like, I came down looking like Mad Max. Like, I had just seen absolute war. Like, it was like, my face was red. Kid. I had some fucking, like my eyes were all like, it was bad.
You ever see that Wasabi kid? The Wasabi. Wait, actually, you just made me think of another funny one. Obviously, like our fan base never got to witness it, but I don't know if Rachel, I don't know if you were there that night or if you had to leave early or something, but we literally had gotten on and then Morgan, I think it was just Morgan and I at some point, it was only for like maybe 10 minutes and Bosley threw up. And he was standing behind the computer with a dumb little face. And Morgan's like, I can't do this shit. And then did something happen with Maisie at the same time too?
That was such a shit show. I literally, so it was right before Christmas. I was storing all the Christmas stuff in my office. So like there's like a little crack in between my two monitors, and like he literally was just, I'm like, we're hopping on the podcast and I hear, and I'm like, and I look over, he's like, and I'm like, what the fuck? And so like I looked over, I'm like, tell me he just threw up on her gifts. And I'm like, you know what? You know when something's just such a vibe kill, you're just like, I'm not even putting on a happy face. I'm so done with today. And then like something did happen with Maisie. I don't even remember because Bosley's throw up episode was like, it just ruined it. And I was like, I gotta get off.
Throw up.
But like the worst part was like
that episode.
He like threw up, and I think I have the video somewhere because it has him throwing up in the background. I'm like, all right. I'm like, well, welcome to I'm like, oh, let's get ready to go live or whatever. We did start going live, and then I'll sit here, and I'm like, are you kidding me? And like he just stood there, and it was almost like if I don't move, it didn't happen. So like he threw up, and then he just was like frozen like this in between my monitors. I can see him, and he's like.
No, he was like those little kids where when you go up to your mom in the middle of the night, I float up.
I gotta find that. Honestly, I should have found like video clips and pictures of our 2024 nonsense. We could have like we need bloopers. Okay, can we make that like a 2025 goal that we have like an active roll of bloopers? We need to be more like conscious of like capturing our snafuzzles. But yeah, 2024 was a really good year. We had some really amazing guests, and we had like a lot of opportunity. I think we grew as investigators, so now we just need to get Rachel on the train, and we're going to drag Rachel to locations, and we're going to spook the crap out of you.
I like that.
But it was definitely like a growth year. It was like a season of hustle, and there was a lot of really cool people that we met. We read some really cool. We had a lot of authors on our podcast, which I thought was cool. So we read like a lot of books. The books that I showed on like our Instagram isn't even compared to like my Kindle TBR because like there's so much that I bought digitally, and I'm like just reading some of these experiences and like. I don't know. There's just a lot of really cool research that I think people, when they watch paranormal TV shows and a lot of these content creators, like they don't see how much work and how much really cool stuff goes into being an investigator and how much traveling they have to do and how much hard work it is for like a lot of the time, sometimes no evidence. So I think actually getting into the investigative side has really helped the podcast grow because it helps give us a little bit more like realistic insight and not just kind of going off of, you know, personal experiences and TV shows. So yeah, I mean, lots of really good stuff. And I'm trying to think of what else. Did we miss anything?
Not that I can think of. I will say to piggyback off what you just said though, that like people who are non-believers or like half skeptical, half not, like myself, you really got to try to like do at least one investigation in your life if you're into any kind of paranormal community of any sort. Because when I tell you, like, I love horror and paranormal and all that, but when we went to our first investigation at my haunted manor, I'm not gonna lie, I had a lot of adrenaline. I was absolutely terrified even to just do like when we first did the tour of everything and they split us into the groups, like just being in that room, I was like terrified thinking that as soon as I left the room, I was going to like see things. And it's so much different to what like the movies show you. And it's not like, you're not going to like see a ghost right then and there. But at the same time, like I still felt and like saw things that weren't what you normally see in the movies. And it's like insane. It's very like mind blowing.
I think movies and like media desensitize us so much to the actual like phenomena that goes on that like when you're actually presented with like active evidence like right in front of you, it kind of opens up your brain to like, okay, there is definitely something out there, you know, bigger than us. And like it also makes you, I think it helped me in a way because it's like it's good to be a believer and a skeptic. But I think it's also important, like, when you do see evidence, to be like, okay, you know, you don't count like anything out. Like I feel like it opens up your scope. So it's like you'll see something and you're not so quick to jump and say, oh, well, that's this. You're like, okay, it's plausible that could be something. But like I definitely want to see more evidence on that. Or like, so I think it changes you as a person, it changes you as like an investigator, it changes your perspective. So hi Joshua. Brett. We have all our friends here. I'm so excited. Thanks for joining, guys. We got friends. So yeah, so all right, guys, let's kick it. Let's get into unidentified shit we know nothing about. And if anybody knows, this probably sounds so bad because here we are reporting on it. We were having a debate on what a UAP is. And so
unidentified
so everybody take their best guess. What do you think a UAP is?
Unidentified penis.
Unidentified anal probe. Rachel, what's yours? Trey. Trayson.
Unidentified alien. I don't know.
People.
Boo, Rachel. You got to give us something creative.
Unidentified alien people.
I'm not the. There we go.
Unidentified alien peepees.
Peepees. I didn't say peepee. I said people.
No, as us Italians would say, it's an unidentified alien piche. Piche deal.
There it is.
Okay, no, so we're all wrong. It stands for unidentified aerial phenomenon.
All right.
Also known as a
Aerial
UFO. So it's just a fancier way. Instead of saying an unidentified flying object, it's aerial phenomenon.
Oh, that's fancy.
So who wants to... Oh gosh, Brett said if it ain't one of the Delaware destroyers. Oh, your dad got it right. He got it right.
But he spelled
Ron
like
is
Ariel, like the mermaid.
Ron, you're not allowed to come in here with your superior knowledge, okay?
Yeah, he's just gonna come in here and be like.
Oh crap! Did we let Nana know that we're on tonight?
I
Oh my
said
God.
it to her.
I feel like my
Nana's gonna come in
goddaughter
here
is-
and be like, "Are you kidding me? I would not miss it."
Nope, I sent it to her.
Okay. So how are we kicking this off? So what should we start with? Because we have a decent amount of case files on incidents. I mean, as we all know, so I guess we should just quickly talk about the fact that this was kind of, like we said, inspired by the fact that the New Jersey drone thing, we still don't really have answers to that. I think we all have our own conspiracy theories, perspectives on things, but it kind of got our brains going. I mean, what if Taylor's right? What if this is the year that we meet the aliens? I mean, we need to know a little thing or two. Is there categories to this? Is there hierarchies of aliens? Is there a king alien? Is there a, we need to know the things. We need to look back through history and peel back the files and layers and see what the heck we're looking at. What are we dealing with? Is it pleasant experiences? Is it bad experiences? I want to be prepared. So, let's see. Oh, we love you guys. Thanks for joining, though.
I gotta wait. What do the kids do? What is it? How do the kids do that weird thing? I do this, but how do the kids do that thing? What is it? No. Well, first of all, a lot of kids go like this. No, this. Wait,
is this the Illuminati?
This. No, there's one.
No.
They do like some. I don't fucking.
Well,
I'm
anyways,
too old to know what it is. But go ahead.
There it is.
okay. Yeah, that's it. We did it. So all right, do you want me? I'm just gonna kick it off with the Phoenix Lights. So there's obviously been I mean, if you comb through Reddit, if you comb through Google, you comb through anything, there are tons and tons and tons of case files for reports of abductions, of just experiences, people who have come across very weird, unexplainable things in the sky, things that they've watched. You know, what was it? I think it was 2022, maybe 23, where or maybe it was 24. The one with where the police officer caught the body cam of aliens kind of just walking through somebody's backyard. And like the police officer was like legitimately like shaken up and was like, no, you don't understand. Like I saw what I saw, and that was not a human being. And like these things that they were actively on like a foot pursuit with, they disappeared.
They were on a pursuit of an alien.
People were going nuts because they had this like body cam footage, and it was coming from a police officer. And I feel like anytime first responders give a paranormal account, I mean, you're talking to the most rational, pretty rational people, I would say, because like they see the worst of the worst, they see the ugliest of the ugliest, and they're very much there's an explanation for this. Like, you know, my husband is very much like, if a book was to fly off a shelf, he would be like, listen, the shelf's probably off kilter, you know, like it's nothing crazy. So like they're always looking for a reasonable explanation. And the fact that a police officer kind of stood there and was like, he was like shaken up and he was like, no, you don't understand. You don't understand. Something odd happened that was not explainable. Let me tell you what's up. And so a lot of people are like, all right, I'm listening now. You got our attention. And I think that opened a lot of people's eyes. But at the same point, you got the weirdos like us who are just like, yep, aliens, all right. We've been there, seen that. Give us something else. Where's Bigfoot? Give us Dogman. So one of the cases from the 90s, let's see. Oh, so I was about, 3 when this happened? So this is March 13th of 1997. This is the Phoenix Lights. So this happened in Phoenix, Arizona, and the case status is closed, but it's unresolved. Like, there was no resolution to this. There were thousands of residents across Arizona, including Governor Fife Symington, who witnessed this. So on the evening of March 13th, 1997, thousands of witnesses reported seeing a massive V-shaped craft silently gliding over Arizona. The object was described as having 5 to 7 bright lights moving in perfect formation. The sighting lasted for about several hours, spanning hundreds of miles from Nevada to Tucson, Arizona. And later that night, bright stationary lights appeared in the sky, assumed by officials to be military flares. So I just want to say that there is a lot in that area, Skinwalker Ranch, I would say even like Utah, like that general vicinity there. Like Kurt, we used to do Sunday Scaries with Kurt, and he was an abductee. He was somebody that, you know, he tells his kind of tale about being abducted as a young child, and he is now in Taos, New Mexico, and he's like, this area is just crazy with activity. It's not just, you know, UAPs, it's not just cryptids, and he's like, it is a hotspot for just weird shit all the way around. And so some of like the details to this case were that witnesses described the craft as massive, silent, and blotting out the stars. So I think if I'm looking at the sky, I'm looking at something, like I'm trying to be rational. If I'm looking there and like an airplane, if an airplane's flying through, it's going to block whatever is behind it because it's in our atmosphere, it's down, it's close by. You're going to see like, you know, it go through the clouds maybe, but when it comes to like, if it's moving past the stars or whatever, you're not going to see that. So that tells you that there's something physically like there. So like that would be my first like knee-jerk reaction to be like, okay, that's really odd. And then Governor Fife Symington initially dismissed the event, but later admitted seeing the craft himself, and he called it, in quotations, otherworldly. So, some witnesses claim to experience emotional and physical effects such as temporary paralysis or intense fear. Now, this is another thing that I don't know if you guys came across it, but with the whole drone thing going on, and even just like I have friends who have told me about weird stuff that has happened to them, they have all described that whenever like they've had what they would be considered as a UAP or a UFO experience, they've all described the same thing where there's either been electrical interferences or like bodily effects, like either like their ears starting to ring, like they would get tinnitus, or they would get like hair standing up. And it's like it's not that far off from like when we are engaged with spirits. I mean, people get chills, they get their hair stands up, they feel like they're being watched. So, I mean, it's not out of the box to think that that could happen with something otherworldly as well. So, yeah, so multiple photographs and video recordings is kind of what made the evidence more solidified in people's eyes because, I mean, it captured the event. I mean, there's nothing really to argue there. And then 1,000 of consistent eyewitness accounts were documented. So, I mean, tons of people throughout this entire, from being interviewed. It's not like you can take 1,000 people and them all, come together and get on the same page and get an aligning story. Like that's really hard to do with that big of a crowd. I mean, somebody's going to mess something up. So to have thousands of consistent stories kind of tells you that like they all saw the same thing. And then the U.S. Air Force claimed that the lights were flares dropped during a military exercise, but a lot of people were not having it, and they were like, no. Like,
I feel like that's such a common thing. Like, oh, it's the military.
That's what I feel like. I'm like, what a government thing to do.
Military.
If you're my FBI agent watching this right now, no, you didn't. I didn't say that.
I did.
But seriously though, I feel like you're right, Rachel. Like the government's there's always like, and it always happens like right after. They're like, oh, by the way, that was just
government.
You physically see like a Demogorgon run across your porch. They're like, oh no, that was my cousin's squirrel. He was in a weird skiing accident and he got out for a minute there. And you're like, none of that makes sense. Yep. Nothing about what you said makes any sense.
Can we talk about really quick, and I won't get into the whole thing because I know we're probably going to talk about it during the episode anyways, but like I want to understand how when all this stuff went down with the drones, like everybody was panicking, and the one thing they said was like, oh, it's like nothing to worry about, like it's nothing crazy, don't worry about it, and then still didn't give us answers, and then it's been a couple weeks and I've barely heard anything anymore. Now it's just like
they disappeared.
Well, no, they haven't though, because like sometimes people are still seeing them here and there, and now we make jokes and we're like, oh, is that a drone? Is that a drone? Like nobody knows if they're officially gone or not. That's what's crazy, and the media doesn't cover it as much anymore. Like it makes no sense.
Yeah, it's like I don't know. There's a lot of weirdness, like. From the end of 2024, now carried over into the new year, I'm like, I just feel like there's a lot going on. We got a lot going on right now.
Yeah. Did you ever notice? And I don't mean it in like a political way. Do you ever notice that whenever we have like a presidential thing, some weird shit goes down? Because in 2020, remember the clowns? Or no, 2016, the clowns. COVID happened in 2020. There was something else that happened during either 2016 or 2020. It was some weird shit. And we were like, what
2020 was literally COVID.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And now we've got like drones.
Yeah, there is always a lot of really odd. There's a lot of odd stuff that happens during election time.
Maybe it's like a every 4-year thing. Like things just have to be.
You're like, release the Kraken.
Release the sharks.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, lava sharks was not on my bingo card.
Mm-mm.
What about y'all? Did you hear about that, Rachel?
No.
Yeah, legitimately, there was a volcano that erupted. It was super old, and like, guys, if you're watching this, if this isn't true, and me and Taylor fell for this, just speed past this part because it seemed legit, and I tried to look it up as well as I could. So, but according to the lore, we'll call it, Taylor, to cover our asses. According to the lore, there's a 1,000-year-old like volcano, and like it created its own like little ecosystem. So there were like legitimate lava sharks. And when it erupted, like they fell into the ocean, and a lot of like biologists were like, no, don't, like marine biologists were like, don't worry about it. Like they can't withstand the heat. So like eventually they're gonna die off, but then other people are like, nah, they haven't died off. Like they're still tracking them, and they've like adapted. And that was like the last thing like I wanted to hear. Is I'm like, I don't want
Sharknado. Like,
that's one of them.
I can't see.
I can't do this.
How did this get scarier than lava sharks? Like, if a human being, like, so there was a videographer. It was really sad. He was filming this volcano when it erupted, and he's no longer. So, like that. So that's scary that there's sharks. Like, there's living creatures that are able to withstand lava.
I found another picture.
Taylor's just ready to absolutely spook us with like, I'm done with you. Get the fuck out of here. Get out of here.
I cannot.
No, but yeah, like
that's real.
It's
real.
Run.
It's real. I swear to God.
Yeah, I feel like there's something like, to me that's terrifying. That terrifies me more than aliens, because lava eviscerates human beings, okay? Mm-hmm. Most animals, like, we kind of fall in line with, like, if lava lands on any of us in a living form, we're done. Like, okay? So why are there sharks living in a volcano? Unless I'm missing something, maybe there's like a barrier, like there's a level to it. But like, then it slingshots these suckers into our ocean, and they're like, oh, don't worry, it's, they do the old, like they said with the drones, don't worry, it's not a threat to your safety, there's nothing to panic about.
Yeah, until
I'm on a Caribbean vacation and I get eaten by a lava shark.
Well, didn't they also say that they discovered aliens or spacecraft in the ocean, right, last year? I think that was another thing. They said there was like dude, kind of alien craft in the ocean.
Just again added to the bingo board.
That's fine. Add those in too.
Yeah, it's a really jacked up 2025 Sunday we got going on. We got lava shark sprinkles. We got a plethora of flavors going on. We got lots of stuff. Throw in some UFO. I can't talk. UFO. No. Okay, let's go. No, but
okay, let's go.
But yeah, no. So, but Trey did say, I put it up before. He said lots of weird UAP sightings over wildfires in Cali now too. So, that's another thing we want to touch upon is, our hearts and prayers go out to the wildfires happening right now in California. The photos are just, we thought, Malibu was really bad, but the fact that Hollywood Boulevard is literally unrecognizable is terrifying. And the fact that it's still not contained is very scary. So we're praying for all of those involved. And we just need, calm for a little bit. Like, we need to, I don't know what god or goddess I need to put on speed dial, or like, if I need to do a naked moonland dance in my backyard, chance of Cthulhu. What's Cthulhu?
I know what you're talking about. I just don't know.
Cthulhu. I don't know. I don't know what kind of ankle or ass I need to show, or some ankle I need to show. Ass I need to shake is what I was trying to say. But like, we need to get on a calmer page, because one thing at a time. I mean, it's cool if like aliens want to pop down and root around our shit a little bit. Like,
We can
do
get one on the
you?
podcast.
Do you, boo? We're here to fully support it. But like, can we like wait a second? Like, can we just like
Wait a
have the
damn
lava
minute.
sharks? Let the lava sharks have their moment.
I
Let
can't
you.
believe these lava sharks.
Yeah, they freak me out. I'm scared. I'm a little scared. They've honestly been in my nightmares because I'm like, I'm the type of person, I don't kayak on like these like tropical trips that we go on. Like if we go on a cruise, don't count on me to do an excursion. I was proud of myself for snorkeling, but I snorkeled like up to my boobies. Like I'm
I
not.
can't do snorkeling. I saw some weird, like I don't know what it was, if it was a sea urchin or if it was like a starfish of some sort, but it looked like a hairy fuzzball. And as soon as it started moving, I was like, yeet, I'm out. I can't. I saw a couple of them.
That's
I have footage.
that's probably an alien, Taylor.
It probably was. I have GoPro footage, and you can literally hear me in the water screaming. So
See, that's what I'm talking about. There's too much going on. I'm like, I'm gonna be like really letting loose. I'm like, you know what? I'm not afraid of lava sharks anymore. Boom. I'm gonna get eaten by a lava shark, and that's it. And I'm telling you two right now, it is my dying wish. If I get eaten by one, you need to put that shit on my headstone.
Eaten by a lava shark.
Yeah. Because I want people to know, like, this we're not covering this up, government. If I'm getting eaten by a lava shark, I want people to know about that. But yeah, so anyways, we digress. There's just been a lot of really weird stuff going on. But you know, like Trey mentioned, there's a lot of just UAP, a lot of experiences, and I don't know if it's becoming more frequent because like we just are more woke to it, as people would say, or if it's literally just more frequent.
Yeah.
I mean,
I feel like
what's
we're too
your
like,
take on
oh,
that?
you can't trick us anymore.
On that note, since we're
They're
kind
just
of
gonna walk around and like you know when E.T. gets dressed up in the movie, he has like the wig
Yeah.
on, and like
Yeah.
I'm gonna be like, nope, I
That's
didn't see
my
anything.
sister's, like,
That looks like a woman. I mean,
we'll pull a Brittany Broski. Be like, well, no,
well,
no,
no.
no. Since we're on that topic of like the aliens in 2025, do you have that video, that little interview? Can we pull that up? Because that was really interesting. I was, you know,
I have to like physically go to my TikTok.
okay. Well,
wait, which one did you want? You want the 2025
interview
one?
Yeah, so I found this video as a clip from 1999 from the Area 51. I guess it was I don't know if the guy was currently working there or if it was he had like left and decided to like speak about this. I don't know. But he mentioned something about like the future, and I'd rather the video explain it.
Yeah, so let's roll the clip. Make sure my volume's up.
Years to interview again people who have worked at the test site at Groom Lake. One gentleman spent 12 of his 30 years in black programs at Groom Lake. When I asked him, I said, first of all, I said, do you believe in UFOs? And he looked at me with a straight face in one-on-one. He said, absolutely, positively, they do exist. Can you expand upon that? And he said, no, I can't. About a year later, we were talking about, again, activities at Groom Lake. And I asked him, I said, now, can you really tell me what's happening out there? And he said, well, there's a lot of things that are going on there that I won't be able to tell you until the year 2025. But we have things in the Nevada desert that would make George Lucas envious.
Bro,
So, yeah.
I'm telling you, Nevada. Like, do you hear this stuff?
Shit's going down this year. I just don't know when it's gonna happen.
Are we back to our screen? I just want to make sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And I feel like every person that they interview, they're like, hey, like, just like, can you just tell me? Like, I won't tell anyone. And like, they like try and like, they're like, listen, man, I really want to tell you. Like, I want to tell you so bad, but I can't. My mom said no.
Pick me energy.
It is very pick me energy.
It is.
Share with the rest of us.
Tomato, boo.
Big boozers on that one.
Big boo boo.
So Rachel, you want to talk about yours? Because I did read about that one and I was like, dang.
Oh yeah. All right. So we're gonna take it to the 60s here with Betty and Barney Hill. This is there we go. This one is an extensively studied alien abduction case. So on September 19th to the 20th, in 1961, Betty and Barney Hill were driving home to Portsmouth, New Hampshire after a vacation in Canada. And while traveling through the White Mountains, they noticed a bright light in the sky that seemed to follow their car. So initially they thought it was a plane, but it was very erratic movements and the proximity to their car was really unsettling. So, typical man things. He stopped the car, he got out, and he pulled out his binoculars to observe the object. He reported seeing humanoid figures through the craft's windows and panicked and believed that they were being watched. So they started to feel really uneasy and threatened. So they drove away as quickly as possible. But soon after that, they experienced a 2-hour period of missing time that could not be accounted for. 2 hours.
That's a lot of time.
Bro,
Yeah.
that's a lot of
That's a lot of time. So they eventually arrived home much later than expected, feeling confused and disoriented. And I feel like that's just the theme of alien abductions, confused and disoriented. So in the days following the incidents, Betty began having vivid dreams about being abducted by strange beings. And she and Barney also noticed unusual physical evidence. So they saw shiny circles on the trunk of their car. Their clothing was torn. His shoes were scuffed. Her dress was torn and stained. They also had unexplained sensations of anxiety. They also were concerned and unable to recall what happened during the missing time. So they went to a hypnotic therapist, Dr. Benjamin Simon, and he put them under hypnosis, and they started describing the spacecraft and the beings that were described as gray aliens: large heads, slanted eyes, small bodies, which I can imagine losing time and then being hypnotized, and then you're spitting out of it about aliens. So Betty also mentioned being shown a star map. So this was one of the most compelling pieces of evidence that they had. So I looked up this star map. I should have sent it to you guys.
Wait, is this why am I picturing, when you say a star map, I picture one of those directories at the mall and the aliens we are here.
You are here.
This is where you are.
Yeah.
This is where you should be, but we have zipped you up by your butt and pulled you through here.
Exactly. So she described a 3-dimensional hologram showing trade routes between stars. So years later, astronomer Marjorie Fish, she analyzed Betty's drawing, and it resembled, if I can say it right, if I remember how to say it, a Zeta Reticuli star system. And so it was almost like this kind of triangle, diamond kind of shape. And it's also called
a rhombus.
What? A diamond?
I've been waiting to say that. We never get to use we learned that in math, a rhombus, and I feel like we've never used it. So
you're finally putting it to use. I'm so
we had to put it to use. I had to. I'm sorry.
That's all right. So the story became widely known after journalist John Fuller wrote the 1966 book, The Interrupted Journey, about alien abduction cases. And this is one of the accounted cases. So skeptics have suggested that the Hills' memories were influenced by cultural factors or psychological stress. However, the physical evidence and their appearance made the story more credible. So just some kind of impact on here. So the Hills case remains one of the most well-documented and controversial UFO abduction stories. It's been subject of books, documentaries, movies, including the UFO incident in 1975. But this is one that continues to... What is happening?
I was starting to look like a Who's that chick with the red lipstick? Miranda. I feel like my lips are starting to like melt out the sides, and I could see it before Taylor texted me. And then Taylor texted me. I was like, "Listen, I love you, but you have got to get it together."
I'm
Like,
not, I'm not gonna lie. I had that text for a few minutes, but I didn't know when it was the right time because you were talking.
I don't know what happened at this time. It was because I was doing it in the video. You know what? Whatever.
Oh my god.
I'm gonna be a vampire tonight.
Morgan.
Just kidding. Just kidding.
This goes in the no. Okay, let's rewind.
She tried to ate and it didn't ate. She reverted.
Let's rewind 20 minutes and talk about when you dressed up both as Nosferatu, and then she's picking off her face the whole time. We didn't talk about that.
Oh god, I hate the mirror thing because fuck. Wait,
After you finish talking about your topic, we need to discuss if either of you have seen Nosferatu.
I haven't. I know he's got a big old vampire schlang-a-lang.
It's 2 seconds in the video, but we'll talk about it after because I don't want to digress.
Okay.
I just have one little last bit, but
we were not laughing at you, Rachel. We were laughing because there was just a mess going on.
I was like, I'm trying to read it, and then I'm looking at the corner and I'm giggling, and I'm like, I don't know what we're giggling.
I was panicking. I was slowly panicking because I couldn't fix it, and I was like, oh god, getting worse, and I look like Miranda sings.
Oh my god.
It's giving clown.
So the incident also played a significant role in shaping the public's understanding of alien abductions. The Betty and Barney Hill case continues to intrigue UFOologists and skeptics alike and continue to be a cornerstone of the field of UFO research. So I feel like it was pretty, like, I don't want to say like basic or whatever, but it's the same symptoms of like confusion, and that they were put under hypnosis and they were like, oh, hey, here's all this information now. And being able to draw out a star map that was, related to something else.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It's crazy. Like, I mean, a lot of people, like, when people started to first tell their stories or were scared to, it's kind of like the paranormal, like, they like didn't want to talk about it because they were labeled as crazy. And like, I mean, look at how many memes there are about that guy from the History Channel with the alien show, and it's like aliens. Like, people get labeled as like crazy and stuff, but then it's like the government, then how many years down the road they're like, hey, so there might be some aliens in that.
And then people are like, oh, I knew it. And then you're like, go fuck yourself.
And be like, what's next? We gotta wait 25 years to learn that Bigfoot's like sitting in Area 51.
Yeah.
He's in Area 27.
That he's just
here's the star map that she was able to draw. I'm going to send it over to you. If you can pop it up, I guess.
While you're pulling that up, I saw Nosferatu. Okay. Weirdest freaking movie I think I've seen in a long time. It was like weirder than Poor Things, if you guys saw that movie. The one with Emma Stone. That was like a cinematically interesting movie. This was like weird as shit. And I can't help but laugh because every time I see TikToks about it, there's always like some guy and he's saying like, basically the whole point of the, spoiler alert if people are interested in the movie, he's like, in order for him to like get killed, well, it's like the original movie, the original Nosferatu that was made years ago. Like the girl has to basically have sex with him in order for him to die. And so like there's always this TikTok that goes around and it's like you have to bounce on that or something like that. So, have you seen that?
Yeah.
It's
I was
so
dying.
Weird.
I am crazy style.
Yes.
Dude, people do the most on TikTok. I can't. I'm like, what? Where do you come up with this?
They better not ever take TikTok away.
What happened to TikTok being taken away?
In my spare time.
I will engage in hand-to-hand combat with whoever tries to take TikTok away.
I literally don't know anything, and TikTok educates me.
Didn't they say they were going to take it away though? Like today?
They've done that before.
Well, yeah, but somebody's in the process of like possibly buying it. But I feel like I'm not trying to be rude here, but like I feel like anytime the US buys something, it gets real lame real quick. Like I feel
Well,
like
yeah, didn't that happen with Musical.ly? Like it got lame, and then once it got bought and turned into TikTok, it wasn't. Who owned Musical.ly? Was it the U.S.?
I don't know, but they've tried it so many times, like Vine, Musical.ly.
Yeah, but Vine was some good shit. I wish that shit
Vine
would
was
come
good.
back.
Vine was my favorite, and then they ended it and killed my soul. So TikTok, it's basically we're gonna go through it twice because TikTok, they're gonna have to rip it out of my organs.
Well, they're trying to sell people on Lemonade now. Because TikTok bought
We better
Lemon.
stop with this.
Lemon. It's literally Lemonade, which is cute, but it's not TikTok material, and you can only post like a minute on there. It's cute for things like I go in there and it's like different meals and stuff, and like household stuff and hair and all that, like different things you could look up. But like it's not meant like the way TikTok is.
Yeah, I'm very uninterested in that.
We want TikTok.
Yeah.
The people have spoken. We want TikTok. So don't make any funny
TikTok.
moves. But anyways, this is the rhombus.
There it is.
This is the reticulum.
And so she was able to draw that out of memory, like never seeing that before, apparently, of these alien trading routes. What I don't know what aliens.
What are they trading?
What exactly?
I want to know what they're
Rhombuses.
trading. What are you guys trading?
Lava sharks.
Imagine like we think they're like doing these like crazy things, like they're trading like jewels and like these and it's really just like us at an elementary lunch table, like, hey, I'll give you my fluff and udder sandwich for your Lunchables. like no, I swear, I hope that we like ostracize so much about aliens, and then they come, they're just like real chill peeps. So you're like, I don't know what you guys are talking about, but like our cars are just they're a little funkier, but we learned a little thing about gravity, and we learned how to utilize it. Like,
listen, all I can say is that if they are pale, I'm gonna fit in perfectly with them.
no, I mean they're probably gonna be super fly. Imagine being able to just be like, hey, I'm gonna leave the atmosphere for a couple hours and go visit my friend over on Mars. Like,
yeah, right.
We're gonna go hit the trading route.
what's that Leslie Jordan's like? That's that TikTok. He's like, Mom, I'm doing things with my friends. Like,
or all those like memes that used to go around. It's like, imagine showing my alien, this is a margarita. Like,
I love the one with Creed. It's like my alien sobbing, and that was Creed.
Yes.
That was Arms Wide Open by Creed. I would die.
Bro, aliens better look like ET because my sister is petrified of ET. That is like her thing.
Vern is scared of that.
Petrified of ET.
Well, now that you told me that, wait, when's her birthday?
July.
Perfect.
Perfect.
We're gonna get a life-size cutout of ET, and we're gonna put it in her Jeep.
Dude.
Put it in the back and put a wig on it, and like
the blonde wig. It has to be the blonde wig.
Has to be the blonde wig with like a little,
the
little Mr.
hat.
Potato Head hat.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anyways, we digress. Taylor,
tell us about your alien.
Tell us about your alien.
Boom.
It's show and tell. Show and tell.
Show us your alien.
So I picked I think it's pronounced the Lottie Vargas incident. It happened in 1983 in Peru. Specifically, I'm going to say it wrong. It's either Cusco or Cusco. Probably Cusco. I feel like it would be Cusco. Cusco, Peru. The witnesses were Maria Lottie and Luisa Vargas. So the two of them were reported being abducted by small glowing entities while near Cusco. They described the beings as childlike in appearance with luminous skin that emitted a soft glow. It's probably me, Anyways, the women were
taken aboard. That wasn't a UAP. That was Taylor.
What are you doing there?
Sorry.
Taylor was just sunbathing in the moonlight.
That's what I do best.
She was moonbathing.
I was. The women were taken aboard an alien craft where they experienced a mixture of awe and fear. The environment inside the craft was described as sterile, with advanced technology and incomprehensible devices.
Wait, pause. Do we think the inside, because you just made me think of something, do we think the inside of a spaceship smells like a hospital room?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like every time somebody describes it, they're like, it was a very sterile environment. And I'm like, well, yeah, it's got to be sterile if they're going to anal probe you. I mean, that would be really jacked up if they weren't hygienic about it.
That's true. Quite true.
Sorry, that was insensitive.
That's true. Mm-hmm. The beings were said to communicate telepathically, conveying a sense of curiosity about humans. The women underwent what they described as a medical examination, though they were unharmed. After the experience, they were returned to the same location from which they were taken, with little recollection of how much time had passed. And the incident had actually received minimal media coverage. It was mostly within like the Peruvian circles, and the lack of physical evidence and the remote location contributed to the case remaining largely untalked about in global UFO lore. They also said that it's notable for its detailed descriptions of the entities in their crafts, adding a unique dimension to the broader catalog of alien abduction cases. So I guess the way that, like, because this just gives me like a basis, but I guess if you really deep dive into this incident, they probably talk more in depth of like what the aliens look like. And you know what's crazy is that how they're saying like their childlike appearance is probably like a bunch of like alien kids fucking around, like, hey, let's go play with the humans. Like
that's their Friday night.
Yeah.
Let's go drive by and abduct some of those stupid humans.
Yeah. Like humans like to like human teenagers like to fuck around and like ding dong ditch, but like they were like, hey, let's go abduct some humans and just mess around with them. We don't really what's the word? We don't really probe or anything like that or examine. We're just gonna fuck with them. They probably don't even do that. They probably were just like, let's just make a joke out of it.
I would love to meet a very sassy teenage alien. Like, I wonder if they have a sense of humor.
I hope that aliens are like that movie. You remember the movie Paul?
Oh yeah, I've seen that, but I was thinking more like, I don't know, when I think of aliens, I'm like, I have PTSD from that fucking movie, Mac and Me. Remember that thing that looked like a butthole?
What?
Mac and Me. He was like, look up Mac and Me on your phones right now because I need to see your raw reaction.
3 words or one?
He literally, his face was like this. And he looked like a little butthole.
What?
Nobody's ever seen Mac and Me?
I don't think so.
Oh my god, I hope.
Ew.
Hold on, I haven't checked on the comments. I really hope.
What the hell is that?
I'm reading all these comments. You see Mac and Me? You see it?
Yeah.
What is that?
It's a little booger.
Ron, I'm feeling really attacked because I do sometimes get my education from TikTok, and
Ron is a Facebook.
I do research, but sometimes TikTok.
Rachel, your dad and my dad would get along so well because my dad used to do TikTok, but he switched over to Instagram Reels, and that's like where he gets all his information from.
Yeah, Instagram Reels, and we're like, dude, just get TikTok.
She'll call me
all that 2 weeks ago.
Get ET out of my Jeep.
Yes. Yeah, we don't need that.
No, but seriously, Mac and Me, that gave me PTSD. I think that was the first movie.
That is not right.
I definitely could have sworn that my door just moved, and I thought Maisie was coming in. I'm like, oh. I'm like, well, both dogs are right here, so I'm like, what the fuck was that? Oh.
You're alien.
Okay, anyways, we're gonna skirt right past that.
It's Mac and Me.
You want to talk about what's scary? Show Vern Mac and Me, because he's so cute, but I don't know, there's something unsettling. He's like a Furby. Like, you know, Furbies were meant to be cute, but they're like really terrifying, and like I'd probably set one on fire if I was ever given one now. Like,
I will say that is pretty cute. Him sipping on a Coca-Cola.
The Coke is like, but his lips are always permanently like
not right,
like little buttholes.
That makes me think of that weird movie with the girl who had the butthole for a mouth. You ever seen that movie?
I've never seen that, but I've seen the clips on TikTok, and I'm like, that's so...
I've seen the movie. It's so weird.
I heard it was messed up.
I want to show it, but like, I don't know if we'll get
like we unexpectedly introduced a lot of ass talk into this podcast. Like, we were like, somehow, like, anal probe just like opened up a door to like, it opened Buttgate, and just... We've opened up a lot of butt talk.
We've opened up a lot of butts.
Cannot.
Okay, so I did want to show you guys. there's a lot of like really funny things about UFOs. So I thought that to break up some of the seriousness, this would be really fun to watch. Because this is how I imagine, like, if I was ever abducted, this is how I imagine it would go. So hold on while I pull this up. And if you guys haven't seen this, you're in for a treat.
Have you guys ever watched any of like those weird, like if you ever go down a rabbit hole on TikTok of like those weird AI creatures?
No, I didn't know what you were talking about when you said that. I was like, huh?
Next episode, I'm gonna bring some to the table and I'm gonna show you them because they're so weird.
Favorite.
I'm Agent Morris with the NSA, and
this is how my
Special Agent
abduction would go.
Kirkpatrick. Now, we know you've all been through quite an ordeal, so we appreciate you making the trip to Washington on such short notice.
Yes, you three experienced the first verified case of alien abduction, so naturally you are of great interest to the United States government.
It's nuts, man. I mean, we're just small town buds who saw a UFO in the woods. I mean, now we're hanging out with the government.
Okay.
Guess which one?
Now, after the blue light pulled you into the spacecraft, what is your next memory?
I came to and saw a beautiful being made of like a beautiful calming light.
Yeah, same here. That being touched my head, and I felt every emotion in its purest form. It was amazing, and I cried, sir.
Okay, and you, Miss Rafferty?
Wow. What floor were you guys on? I woke up in a dirty metal dome and 40 little gray aliens watched me pee in a steel bowl.
No, that's New
They took the
Morgan.
bowl, walked out.
Yep.
Interesting. Were these beings
100%.
also bathed in light?
No, they were gray with big fat eyes, little mouths. They just stared while I peed. I don't think I was dealing with the top brass.
And how did they instruct you to urinate? Was that telepathically?
No. I woke up, I had to pee like a camel. So I started peeing and one of the gray aliens slapped the wall and pointed at the bowl. So I got the hint, I kind of ducked, walked over the bowl, peed in it.
Yes, I see. Now, when you all awoke, were you clothed?
I was wrapped in like a robe made out of warm, glowing energy.
Yeah, like a blanket made out of pure love.
Yeah, a little different for me. I had my shirt I came in with, but my pants were gone. What? So my coot was out.
That's Morgan.
Pigging it in a drafty dome.
That would be me.
Now, did you all stay on the same ship the entire time? Or?
Well, you know, my body did, but my consciousness was shown what lies beyond time and space. It was so beautiful. I'm sorry, I'm just crying just thinking about it a little bit.
Do you need a tissue?
What? No, sorry, I'll use my shirt.
The alien showed my mind the furnace of all creation, what we would call God.
What? These fancy cats are seeing God. Meanwhile, I'm starting phase 2, which is me sitting on a stool while 40 gray aliens take turns gently batting my knockers around. Did y'all get the knocker stuff?
No knocker stuff, sorry.
Yeah, so that's just a short clip into how I truly think that's how my alien abduction would go.
I love how
I don't
we
think I'd get like the top tier.
I love how we went into that and I immediately thought you were the middle one. And then as soon as she started talking on the end, I was like, that's Morgan.
Yeah, no, that was 100%. I'm like, no, that would be me. There's like the one part where I was like 100% solidified in my opinion that that's how my abduction would go is when they have to drop her off and she ends up without her pants on top of a Long John Silver's.
I like it.
Like, dude, that
would 100% be how my alien abduction story goes. I'd be like, you guys are not gonna believe this.
Matt would be like, where the frick are your pants, dude?
Oh my god.
But it also
so much funniness. I can't. Oh, I always forget to check our Instagram comments. A conspiracy podcast joined and checked us out. That's pretty cool. So yeah, so getting back to the more serious side of these, I mean, you got to laugh a little bit in between, and that's probably one of my favorite unidentified abduction-esque stories, because that's how I feel like things would go if that was ever the case. But I think one that we should touch upon before we kind of close things out is the Roswell, New Mexico. I was very excited to wear the sweatshirt. This was like right? So it was so funny. So the funny story behind this that I said I was gonna chat about on here was that I shortly after I started the podcast, I was like having a moment of like, is this the right move? Like, am I gonna succeed in this? Like, what if like, that imposter syndrome starts to kick in? You're like, I don't know. Like, what if should I be doing this? And I'm like, but I felt really led to it. And I was like, okay, if this is it, like, give me a sign. I'm like, Lord, give me a sign that I can't refuse. And here I am. I'm like shopping. I'm sourcing for my resale closet. And I'm like looking through some stuff at the Goodwill. And then I literally come across this. And what's crazy about it is like, I mean, that's a bold fucking sweatshirt. Like, you can't deny that that's not a sign. Like, I'm like, it literally said the Roswell UFO. It's blinged out in bold colors. And I was sitting there and I'm like, okay, right. I hear you. I'm like, that was pretty apparent. And the crazy part was it's like the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants because it's a size extra small. I am not an extra small. Okay. But I was looking at it and I'm like, that looks like an odd extra small. Like that looks like that's like a schmedium, like a Morgan size medium
extra
large.
Medium.
And I literally was like, no matter what, I'm bringing it home. Even if maybe I turn it into a blanket or something, I was like, it's coming home with me. It's like $1. Let's take it home. So I took it home and I was like, for funsies, let's try it on. It fit. Not even extra large.
Crazy. Maybe they messed up the S and they meant to put like an L.
Maybe
they messed it up.
But it's not an extra large. Because it's a little.
It just feels snug.
It is definitely snug.
But even so, like that's crazy.
So like that was my little little sweatshirt story. So I think everybody kind of knows about the Roswell, New Mexico story. There's a lot to it. It was probably one of the biggest UAP stories that kind of came out. So it happened in July of 1947 in Roswell, New Mexico. The case status is considered closed, but there's a lot of controversial, conspiracy topics around that. Rightfully so, because there was a lot of people that witnessed it, and then there was a lot of like involvement and people that came out on video and talked about it, who had to like remove the remnants of this. So let's get into it. So the primary witness was rancher William Mack Brazel and U.S. Army Air Force's USAAF personnel from Roswell Army Airfield. In early 1947, rancher Mack, I think it's Brazel, discovered unusual debris scattered across a pasture on the Foster Ranch, approximately 30 miles north of Roswell, New Mexico. The debris consisted of metallic material, including foil-like sheets that were lightweight but unusually strong, as well as rubber strips and sticks resembling L-beams with strange symbols etched on them. Roswell reported the findings to the local authorities, who notified the RAAF, and on July 8th, 1947, the Roswell Army Airfield issued a press release stating that they had recovered a flying disc. This announcement obviously made headlines nationwide, and hours later, the statement was retracted and a new explanation was issued claiming the debris were from a weather balloon. That's a little sussy. This is, before I kind of get into the key details, I wanted to play this video because the guy who was instructed to take away the debris talked about the fact that there were certain qualities and characteristics about this weather balloon that did not fit what a weather balloon is made of and yeah, so you'll see without giving too much away.
It was not flexible, but it was as thin as a foil with a pack of cigarettes. It was that thin. One of my boys told me, he said, there's something unusual here. He said, I tried to make a dent in this metal. And he said, you can't bend it. You can't make a mark on it. He says, I took a sledgehammer and whammed it. I put it on the ground and whammed it. The sledgehammer bounced off of it. He told me not to say anything. He says, I'll handle it from now on. And that's exactly what he did. When he came out, he said, he told the press that was there, he said, that was nothing but a weather balloon, crashed weather balloon. It was definitely not a weather balloon. And it was an aircraft. So what it could have been, I wouldn't know. I still don't know.
They took pictures, of course. They had a whole flock of microphones there. They wanted me they wanted some comments from me, but I wasn't at liberty to do that. So all I could do is keep my mouth shut. And General Ramey is the one who discussed, told the newspapers, the newsmen, what it was and to forget about it. It was nothing more than a weather observation balloon, of course, which we both knew differently. We left Roswell perhaps around 3:30 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. As you can see, it's flat. It is very difficult. In fact, with just verbal directions, we never would have found it. We had to follow the rancher out there. The following morning, we went out to the site where the crash was. And what I saw, I couldn't believe there was so much of it. It was scattered over such a vast area. So we proceeded to pick up as much of the debris as we could, loaded in a wagon. We filled that up. It took us a good part of the day to do that, because there's such small fragments that we had to do a lot of picking. We found a piece of metal about a 1.5 to 2 feet wide and about 2 or 3 feet long. Felt like you had nothing in your hands. It wasn't any thicker than the foil out of a pack of cigarettes. But the thing about that got me is that you couldn't even bend it, you couldn't dent it. Even with a sledgehammer would bounce off of it. So I knew that I had never seen anything like that before. And as of now, I don't know what it was. It was not anything from this earth that I'm quite sure of.
So yeah, so that's the video about how this thing, like, they were hitting it with a sledgehammer, there was all these things and nothing was working. So yeah, so I thought that was very interesting because, normally, like, I feel like even if you hit, like, an airplane with a hammer or something, it's going to leave some kind of dent, or it's going to, like, I'm not sure. But you know what I'm saying? So I just thought that was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I'm working on I'm hoping they didn't totally, like, block our video because of that one little clip.
I saw that.
I just said working on it too. I was like, I was trying to text you. I was
like,
yeah.
It looks like it's cut out. Part of it's cut out,
which is fine. I'm hoping that it didn't. I was, like, wondering why when we got back on, we were missing, like.
Yeah, I think it's not on Instagram anymore.
Oh, well, that's okay. But yeah, so that was kind of about that, and then there's a couple of other little videos, like this one.
Crash wasn't an airplane, but they didn't know what it was at that time. Yeah, but she said we have 3 bodies. That there was 3 bodies. She said 2 of them were very mutilated. One looked like it might have walked out, or that it, might have lived a little while. And she explained they were like 3.5 feet to 4 feet tall, and very, very delicate skin. In fact, they said the skin would look like they could almost see through it, almost transparent.
Dan Dwyer and his colleagues in the Roswell Fire Brigade were also involved. The firemen were shown some remarkable material. Dwyer's daughter, Frankie, was in the station at the time and remembers picking it up.
When I would wad it up, it was like I had nothing in my hand. I couldn't feel it touching my skin. It was real weird. Drop it on the table and it was just like water, the way it would spread out.
And then this one's from the Joe Rogan show from a guy. I was trying to get more research on this gentleman because I feel like they said he's either connected to the CIA or he has some kind of CIA background, but I thought what he said was interesting.
What I believe crashed at Roswell was German from Argentina, but it had hallmarks and technology based on alien technology. So we put out a story saying it's alien, and then we put out a story saying it's a weather balloon. But the real thing it was, we didn't want anyone to guess, and that's why we put those two things out there. 90 days after the Roswell event, CIA was created, the Air Force was separated from the Army, the National Security Act was created, and all those things are mechanisms to start learning more and to start getting private industry off the ground.
So that had nothing to do with World War II. You think it had to do with aliens?
I do know that there's connections to Atlantis.
What's the connection?
That there's a very advanced group that left after a catastrophe and hung around in a small outpost here and throughout time would push civilization forward, and that's who the Greek gods were.
Whoa.
And that's why it's very interesting on the Roswell wreckage there's Greek writing.
Eleftheria.
Which means freedom in ancient Greek.
So, yeah. So I thought there's a lot of like little things that kind of like were adding up with this, and I was like, oh my god, it gets weirder and weirder and weirder, and there's so many conspiracy theories kind of connected to it. So some of the key details were witnesses, like you heard in the videos, described the material as extraordinary lightweight, flexible, unbreakable, and they said that like the foil would just return to its original shape after being crumbled. So like the more that I started to kind of dive in and research like what they were referring to with this material, all these accounts that people talked about this incident, it almost was like it was made of like kinetic sand. Like you mold it and stuff like that, but then if you put it down somewhere, it just
falls apart.
So what I thought was interesting, when I put my feelers out on Reddit and asked people to write in and submit stories after being violently banned from Reddit. No thanks to you, creepy encounters.
Before or after.
Just call me Petty LaBelle because I'm on it today. So anyways, I literally left the group. I'm like, I will not be muted. I didn't do anything wrong. I remain my innocence.
Know what? We're gonna hope that their pillows are warm tonight.
Yeah, and I hope you lose the batteries to your freaking TV remote, you troll. I'm done. I'm mad. Whoever the moderator was for that, you were unkind. You were extremely unkind, and yeah. So anyways, Vanna93 was super, super, super awesome to be one of our first stories that wrote into us on our Reddit thread. And she said, hey, I've got a UAP story from Utah County, Utah. Now, what I want you all to keep in mind is the reason I want to talk about this now is because we were talking about the textures. Like, I know Rachel kind of talked about, was it you that talked about or was that you, Taylor? Translucent skin.
I think that was Rachel.
Yeah, so like I feel like we all each kind of touched upon the looks of the aliens and the different kinds of, like, it almost seems like everybody kind of alludes to these jelly-like, translucent, different colors. Like, there's very unique characteristics to what people are experiencing. So that's kind of what caught my eye about this write-in. So Vanna93 said, this one's from Utah County, Utah. She said, after COVID, the artillery depot nearby started doing detonations multiple times a month, when before it was maybe a handful of times a year. I believe that this has caused a dramatic increase in UAP sightings all around Utah. I could send you a Reddit post where this guy's parents in rural Utah are seeing dozens of these orb-like things flying in different directions. The most amazing sighting I've ever seen happen last August. I told my husband that we needed to check our chicken butts for any sign of bugs. They have a large property and chickens. So she said it's much easier to do at night when all your birds are roosting for the night. So about 9:30 p.m. rolls around and we head out. So my husband was being a smartass and decided to bring his 5,000 lumen flashlight he just got from Harbor Freight, and he said he would be able to see any possible. He said we would be able to see any possible bugs, and I'm really glad he brought it. As we were walking out of the coop, tucked in the corner of our quarter-acre lot, with that obnoxious-ass flashlight in my hand, I look up and I see an object floating slowly about 100 feet up. She said, I pointed out to my husband. We both quickly realized that it's not a drone, as that's the only thing with lights that can fly that low. So I start running to catch up to it so I can light this thing up with the force of the sun in my hand and get a good look at it. It's right above my head as I get to our driveway, so I light it up. And I only got about 5 seconds to really look, and I was so completely confused by what I saw. This thing looked like it was plucked from the deep ocean. It was a straight-up jellyfish, UAP. The hood was a solid mass instead of the transparency of a usual jellyfish, and it was broken up in a pattern not unlike a monarch butterfly's wings, except the orange was like a gray color. The texture looked like muscle tissue, and the black bordering had an avocado skin texture. The absolute weirdest part of about this thing was the alternating pattern of straight-up rainbow bioluminescence bordering the hood. I only got a vague impression of maybe 3 tentacles with dimmer lights of the same color before this thing takes off like a bat out of hell. It was about the same size of a bathtub and definitely had an intelligent feel. Almost a cheeky, like, oops, we got caught feeling. I didn't feel threatened, and I wanted to chase it down the road, but it was just gone.
That was icky.
Crazy, right?
That
the way that she described it.
The picture gave me the ick.
Hey, Hoss.
What's up, Hoss?
We hope to see you soon. We're definitely coming by the manor. Stay tuned.
100%.
But yeah, so I thought that was really interesting that was our very, like, today we're doing this podcast. It was the universe aligning, because I was like, for our first Reddit write-in story, for that to be our first listener, like our first write-in, I thought that was really, really cool. And I have heard, like, when I was trying to research, the thing that I think piques my curiosity the most is from talking to Kurt and then also doing research on this, like, it seems like there are, just like there's different people, like, all over the place. There's little people, big people, all different colors. We all have different character traits. We're, like, there's all these different personalities. Like, there's thousands of us, and we're such a diverse mix. And so I can only imagine that it's probably the same for aliens, because from what I've searched, there's what they categorize as the grays, which seem to be the most common. And some people have differing opinions on, like, the grays. Apparently they are either calming, and they have, and this is why I wanted to show that SNL video, because I feel like you have, like, 3 people with 3 completely different experiences, right? Like, you have one that's like, my experience was a little odd, and the other person's like, oh, it's full of light and calm and love. And so, but when you start looking through stories, that's what you're getting. You have people who are they have been seeing, like she said, the jelly UAPs, and I'm like, jellyfish, a lot of people have described them as almost looking like deep sea creatures, like the bioluminescent type of, like, those things in the ocean that when you pass through them, it creates like a light effect. So they've talked about those. They've talked about the grays. They then have talked about ones that are like pure white. And they are, like, supposed to be very calming and very kind and very, like, spiritual. So there were so many more, but I'm like, I don't know that I have the brain bandwidth to, like, because if I start going down that wormhole, I'm jumping down the rabbit hole. Like, I'm going deep.
If you really think about it, though, like, when we describe aliens, we always hear, like, the horror stories and stuff. But then at the same time, we also hear people who say, like, they come from love and light and stuff. But what if they're literally just like humans? Like, a lot of the times we always hear the bad stuff about people, but we also hear the good things. And like, what if they're just the same as us? Like, we just happen to always hear about the bad things, and then we hear about the good things. Like, what if that's just the way they're exactly like us, and we just don't? Media is feeding us the bad things because that's what media does.
Yeah. So Christy said that's a wild story, great description though. It was a really good description. Like that's honestly what caught my eye the most about the story is I was like wasn't sure how our first write-in was going to go and I was a little nervous cuz I was like sometimes like we embrace and we love weird, but like this is Bed Bath and Beyond, not Bed Bath and like
Be Gone.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm just kidding. But like seriously, like I mean nothing really is off limits too weird here, but sometimes we get things and I'm like, hey, like maybe
we've had
we can't air that. Like I'm like, no, like sometimes there's inappropriate stuff. But anyways, I thought it was really interesting reading that because like you hear so much about your traditional aliens, and so just to kind of give you guys a little insight, there's a lot of different kinds. So there's like what they call the Flatwoods Monster. So it's a tall humanoid with a spade-shaped head. You have the Greys, which they were involved in the Roswell incident. That's what people, I mean, gray-skinned humanoids, tall, hairless, large head, black almond-shaped eyes, nostrils without a nose, slits for mouth, no ears, 3 to 4 fingers, including a thumb. So I mean, I don't know why they described it. That just say they have 5 fingers.
And a partridge in the pear tree.
Seriously. I guess they consider the Hopkinsville Goblin is a small greenish silver humanoid. Your typical little green men. So very little abductions have referred to the aliens being green, but there have been a few reported cases. Now, the other ones that we kind of get into are Nordic aliens. There have been several cases of contact with these. These are the ones that I kind of spoke about earlier, like tall, all white, very sometimes called space brothers, known as Plagiarin, I think is how you say it. But then they also consider, which I thought this was interesting, I can't even say it. My tongue is getting tired. Cryptozoological animals and plants in folklore, religion, mythology, Atlantis, poltergeist, time travelers, all these things are considered extraterrestrial or interdimensional beings. And then you have the reptilians and the reptiloids. So kind of like we all remember that girl on the airplane who swore that she saw some kind of reptilian humanoid creature. She freaked out. She became viral on TikTok. So that's a category. So they think that ancient astronauts, draconians, Orion reptilian humanoids, there's so many, but they're basically tall, scaly reptilian beings that date back at least as far as the ancient Egypt. And they think that it's related to the crocodile-headed river god Sobek. And then you have the rods. So these I have heard of, the rods. So Kurt, I think, was one of the ones that had introduced me to the rods. Hey, Danger, what's going on? So we have Michael Castro up in the chat. So, yeah, so the rods, I think the ones that you hear the most about are the Greys, the rods, and your cryptids. So the rods are described as elongated visual artifacts appearing in photos and video recordings, and they're claimed to be extraterrestrial beings, but a lot of people have kind of chalked it up to motion blur and flying insects. So, though, I mean, you have your common types, but there were some in there that I did not realize that they had kind of drawn a line and said, hey, these are considered aliens. So I thought that was interesting. But to kind of tie up some of these investigation notes in this case file from the Roswell incident, they basically think that, I guess I should start with the official explanation. So the explanations that the government made was they said in 1947 that it was weather balloon debris. 1994, they said it was Project Mogul materials, which was classified at the time, which is why they had to call it a weather balloon. Then in 1997, when the whole alien body thing came out and people were going on record talking about that, the alien bodies were explained as test dummies from high altitude experiments conducted years later, though this explanation contradicts the 1947 timeline. Many believe that the military recovered an alien spacecraft and bodies, which sparked decades of UFO-related investigations and pop culture references. So that's why a lot of people with the Area 51 thing, you had people trying, like, they had to really batten down on consequences for people trying to visit Area 51 because people were like, no, we know you have alien bodies back there. And with the Roswell incident, they said that there was actually 2 crafts that were flying, and one that crashed had dead aliens in it. Like, they didn't survive. And so and then some people, again, conspiracy theory, this cannot not be confirmed or denied, was that one died, one was still alive, and that's what they took to Area 51 for studying. And so, I mean, Roswell is really kind of what I would consider, after the research we've done, is what sparked the alien extraterrestrial UAP interest, because there was so much evidence and so much. I think what really made people question the government was redacting so many statements. Like, every couple of years it was like, oh no, it wasn't this, oh no, we said it was this because it was classified, oh no, it was this actually. And people are like, how many times are you going to change the story? So very interesting.
You gotta keep us on our toes.
I mean,
Absolutely.
Well, I think 2025 is definitely,
they're gonna show us some aliens.
They're gonna show us some aliens. We'll see if that video hangs true. If 2025, if we're gonna see something we ain't never seen before. But I'm scared. I'm so scared to say that. I'm so scared to say that. Please don't take that literal, universe. If you heard that, no, you didn't. But yeah, so that's our UAP episode. We have. I feel like there's still so much that needs to be, like, we had so many more cases. But there was just a lot. There was a lot to catch up on, and it's an hour and 40-something minutes. But yeah, I don't know.
Ta-da!
What's that like when you get finished talking about something, but you don't want to ruin somebody's life? So you're just like, yeah, but I don't know. So at your own risk. I mean, believe what you wanna, but don't hold us accountable.
With the grain of salt.
Yeah. So good luck. If you do have some kind of weird instances, or you see an unidentified flying object, a drone, maybe Bigfoot sitting around the bonfire pit at your house, call your girls. Like,
Or
call us
just know
up.
you didn't.
1-800 we're here. Call us.
My
Call
brain
us and let us.
immediately said, you said 1-800, and my brain goes, contacts.
We're at the delusional hour.
We are.
But yeah, you can. So we have an all new website. Well, it's not all new. We had a website, but we gave it a little bit of a facelift. So if you want to write into us, or you're interested on being on the podcast, or you just want to shop our merch. I mean, whatever you want to go there for. That's between you and our website. So just go on there. Don't make it weird. It's www.theghoulfriendhourpodcast.com. You can write in, tell us some of your weird experiences. We also have a Reddit forum, and I believe you can just search it. It's under the Ghoulfriend Hour podcast, and you can just write in your experiences, and just make sure that if it's something that you don't want us to use your username for, or you want to remain anonymous, just specify, just put in stars or asterisks and just say anonymous. And we won't, name you, but we definitely want to get more listener stories. It's really cool to read, like the one we had today, the submission. So thanks so much to our first submit from Reddit today. We really appreciate it. And then last comment, Matt O'Neill. We've seen weird UFO things over Fort Delaware. That's another. We all three have to do the extended tour in October there. It was really cool. It just, even if without the haunting stuff, the historical aspect and the buildings that you go through, it's massive. and it's just got an air. It has a moat.
A what?
A moat.
What the heck is a moat? Like a moat moat?
Like a moat. Like the ones they would keep, like, what's in the fairy tales? Don't they keep, like, alligators or something in there?
Yeah, around the castles.
Yeah. Like, it's a moat. And they have a giant snapping turtle that's, like, hundreds of years old, and he's huge.
I'm going to give it a hug.
Oh. I like it.
Maybe don't say that for insurance purposes, because if something happens...
There it is, Taylor.
That's
there
what it was. That's what it was.
I don't know.
So stupid.
I don't think my...
Two fingers.
I don't like this. I don't like this. It doesn't feel natural. It doesn't feel natural.
Or was it this?
Hi, Kels.
This.
Oh, gosh.
This. Wait, this. There it is. This. Oh.
It's me using my mind powers.
Like accepted.
I like it.
You blow shit up with my mind. No. All right, we gotta end this. We have got to put ourselves out of our misery because we are gonna get really unhinged really quick and we're gonna get canceled. So no, they can't cancel us.
Nah.
They can't cancel us. We're the Ghoulfriend Hour. We're here to bring laughter and joy and weirdness. Just not too weird. Let's not get too weird. Don't get carried away. Because if you're making us uncomfortable, we draw the line because we're pretty weird. We're pretty strange. So
haunting a tampon.
Finger guns. Yeah.
There it is.
There it is, guys. So if you guys were not privy to the episode where Taylor stated, go ahead, Taylor. Tell them what if you were gonna haunt a mundane object, what were you gonna come back as a cursed object?
A tampy.
Yeah. She wants to come back as a haunted tamp.
I'll be like that Step Brothers where she's like, I just want to feel you inside, just tickling around. Remember when she's like, I just want to.
We need to get off here. Debbie.
Oh shit!
Thank you so much. It has been so great. I'm so glad that people think we're funny because sometimes I'm like, are we funny or are we like borderline need help? Yeah, because
it's a good mix.
It's a fine. I don't know if it's a good mix. I feel like it's a very fine line.
Hey, I'm very proud that you gave your warning at the beginning and not right now. So
new year, new me, guys. New year, new me. I'm doing, and then come next episode, literally next Thursday, I'm gonna forget. I'm gonna say something absolutely heinous, and I'm gonna be like, "Trigger warning. I'm really sorry that I just told you this guy got his entire head cut off."
Really crazy thing.
Sorry for this really crazy thing, guys. Hey, girly pop. So sorry about that. No, but okay, seriously.
We gotta
go. Very serious.
Spooky.
We need to get off this. We need to get off live air before the year's even started and we've fucked up so bad. We just have to absolutely take ourselves off. But seriously, so we're gonna plan. We have an event in the works. We're not gonna announce it yet, but we possibly are gonna have our first event coming up, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. So stay tuned. Make sure you're following our pages, our socials, Twitter. What do I always say? It's like Twitter or something. Google your mother's ass. Make sure. Yeah. What does Vic DiVitetto say? Isn't that? Yeah. So anyways, So, yeah, we need to definitely keep an eye on things because we're going to be announcing, I think we're trying to travel more in 2025. We're trying to be a part of more events, more investigations. We're going to break Rachel's investigation cherry and take her out on the wild side in the paranormal.
I can't wait.
So anyways, it's going to be a lot of fun. So make sure that, like I said, that you're following. Everything is the Ghoulfriend Hour podcast. So you really can't mess up there. And if you're not following us, bye-bye, Rocco. That's what I have to say about that. You're missing out. No, but there's a lot of great things in store. So catch us at our vendor table if we have one somewhere. Come hang out with us. Don't be shy. We want to get to know, some of our listeners. We want to meet you all. Have some good laughs. Share some dark, morbid humor, and make people uncomfortable. That's what we're here to do.
Yeah. Oh,
and try not to get canceled. Oh yeah.
And we also need to mention to our fans what we're doing on Saturday. Yep.
Is it this Saturday?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's this Saturday. It's the 8th. No, not the 8th.
Oh my God, time's flying. You know,
The
you're
10th,
right. Yeah, from 3 to 4 p.m. So so good catch, Taylor. So the week's flying by, and I was like, wait a minute, is it already the
Thursday?
So we are going to be on I think it's called the Ghost Host. It's with Sophia Temporelli, and she is an amazing podcast. She has interviewed a ton of people in the paranormal field, horror genre, I believe. And so we are so excited that we're going to be guests on her show. Like we're not going to be doing the interviewing. We are going to be the interviewees. So
we're gonna have
hopefully,
to actually behave.
Do we though?
Just a little bit. Like we can't draw. I
feel like we have to. I think we have to stay true to
podcast
ourselves,
entails.
Taylor. I think we got to make people uncomfortable.
We have to lay back on the cursing a little bit.
Yeah, I gotta watch my F-bombs. So yeah. Oh yeah, so we have to it usually Friday nights we're airing on M2D2 radio. So we'll have to get them caught up on our newest season and some of our episodes that we have to get over there. But thanks so much again to M2D2 for always airing us and supporting us. But yeah, that's it, guys. I mean, just stay tuned because we're gonna just shoot everything out on our socials instead of trying to clam it all into this episode. But I have to pee, so we are gonna bop out of here and save you guys the mental deterioration while you're sitting here listening to us ramble. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Bye.